It's a game 100 years in the making for the Illinois Fighting Illini. But can the Michigan Wolverines spoil this centennial celebration on Saturday afternoon?
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
To start this preview, we take a trip back in the Big Ten TED time machine to October 19th, 1924. It was the dedication game for Memorial Stadium, the home of the Illinois Fighting Illini, of course in Champaign, Illinois. Who was Illinois playing on this momentous game 100 years ago? Well, you guessed it, the Michigan Wolverines, and it was a game that established Red Grange as a folk hero in Illinois football history and in college football history. He scored 4 touchdowns in the first 12 minutes, 6 touchdowns overall, and Illinois rolled to a 39-14 win. There is going to be a lot of hype. There is going to be a lot of excitement around Champaign, Illinois for this game. I'm so excited for this football team. I'm so excited for Brett Bielema, Josh Whitman, and this entire program to have this stage, and for CBS to be coming in to broadcast it in that 3:30 Eastern time slot. This is going to be a great showcase for Illinois, and I think that this is just going to be a really good football game in general. Now, we fast forward 100 years. When you look at Illinois in present time and what they need to do defensively, what they need to do better defensively is they need to defend the run. And that's where I start with my storylines for this preview of this game between Michigan and Illinois. We don't need to rewind back 100 years to get an example of this Illinois run defense and what they need to improve on. You look at last week in that Cannon game against the Purdue Boilermakers. The Illini gave up 239 yards on the ground. Ryan Brown, a backup quarterback, but a mobile quarterback, gave them issues in designed and scrambled type of runs from the quarterback position. Over there, Devin Maccabee had a lot of success. Crazy legs Devin Maccabee was able to do some things, get some explosive runs throughout the day as well. 7.5 yards per carry is what Purdue averaged in that game. So Illinois' defensive line really struggled in that game, and they need to be better. When you face a Michigan team that's very, very good at running the football, we know that smash mentality that Sharon Moore wants to play with. And when you look at Khalil Mullings, when you look at Donovan Edwards back there, this is a really good tandem. And when Michigan, I think, looks at game planning for this game against Illinois, they're going to look to that tape last week. They're going to look and say, yeah, we can run the football. If we play our game, we can smash against Illinois. Now, I also think when they look at that tape from last week, they're going to look at what Ryan Brown was able to do in some quarterback run game, and I think that they're going to implement that with Alex Orji. Now, last week we saw Jack Tuttle finally come back from injury that he had through the spring and throughout fall camp early in the season. We saw Jack Tuttle, and it provided a little bit of a spark in that game. I think Jack Tuttle provides Michigan their best chance to win. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback from here on out for the Maize and Blue, and he provides them a little bit more experience and a little bit of a better threat in the throw game. But this is still a very limited pass game. This is still a team that's going to try to run the football and be more heavily involved in the run game, but also trying to achieve a little bit more balance. So you get a guy like Alex Orji that's going to be involved in some packages, some change of pace type of stuff, some stuff that Ryan Brown was able to do last week, and we'll see if he can give them a spark within their offense. I think there's a chance in this game that if Michigan is able to run the football fairly successfully, that I think that they're also going to be able to hit some things over the top as well to Colston Loveland. Watch for Colston Loveland to maybe have a big game against this Illinois team, because I think Illinois just in general is going to bring more resources to the line of scrimmage to do better against the run, to try to stop this run game, and maybe that's the opportunity for Michigan to go over the top to some of these weapons to get those big significant plays in the pass game to make that a threat that Illinois has to recognize and that Illinois has to defend certainly throughout this game. Now, that's a matchup that I think Michigan has an advantage in. I also think Illinois has a pretty significant advantage as well with Luke Air Altmaier. Last week, Luke Altmaier threw for 379 yards and 3 touchdowns against Purdue. Luke Altmaier has been much more comfortable. He's been a lot more confident in this Barry Lunney Jr. system this year than he was last year. He's got two really good receivers on the outside. And then when you look at Michigan, what they've done against the pass so far this season, that really steers into the advantage for Illinois throwing the football. Michigan is 16th in the Big Ten against the pass so far this season. They are giving up on average 260 yards per game. I think outside of Will Johnson, I don't think this Michigan secondary is very good. And I think when you look at the wide receiver options for Illinois, there's only one Will Johnson out there. So someone else I think is going to be open for most of the afternoon, whether it's Zachary Franklin or whether it's Pat Bryant, whether it's some of these other guys in the pass game. I think that they're going to have a good amount of success throughout this football game as well. And then you factor in as well that running back Caden Fagan is out for the foreseeable future for Illinois. It was determined that he would not be able to go pretty late in the process before the game started against Purdue, and then Brett Bielema said in his post-game press conference that he's going to be out for a little bit here throughout the future. So now you're riding with Aiden Lawfrey, you're riding with Josh McCray, you're riding with Kaleo Valentine in that running back rotation. I think that is going to be a compliment to the pass game. I think the pass game can have a lot of success down the field in this game. I think when you factor in what Michigan has done defensively against it this year, and the advantage that Illinois has on the perimeter with some of their talented receivers, and then not having Caden Fagan, I think it's fairly clear that Illinois is going to look to throw the ball. And, this is a Brett Bielema team that when you think of a Brett Bielema team, you don't think of a team that's very comfortable throwing the football, that's their main source of offense. But that's exactly what we have for Illinois so far this season. I'm sure that Wink Martindale knows that Illinois is going to throw the football in this game. Michigan needs to unleash their pass rush. They cannot let Luke Altmaier be comfortable back there. Josiah Stewart has 5 sacks this season. That is tied for the Big Ten lead right now. We know all about that combination in the middle of Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant if they can generate pressure. And I think that they have an advantage up front. I think Michigan potentially has an advantage on both lines of scrimmage in this game. And we know in the Big Ten Conference, games are certainly decided at the line of scrimmage. This is an Illinois offensive line that gave up 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss against Purdue. Michigan is a much better defensive front than Purdue. Right, so I think that's another thing that steers into the advantage of Michigan being able to at least get in the face of Luke Altmaier. Now, I trust Barry Lunny Jr. to adjust to that as the game goes on. I think he was able to do that against Purdue as this game went on, and they were able to just get points and points and points, and they eventually put up a 50-burger and won by the slimmest of margins against the Boilermakers. Quick passing, screens, sprinkle in some run game every now and then, and that could slow that pass rush for Michigan. Illinois needs to do that. Michigan certainly needs to ramp it up, especially get them into third down. If the secondary is able to play good enough in the early downs, get them into third and medium, get them into third and long, dial up that pressure, and get Luke Altmaier uncomfortable. Getting off the field will be key for Michigan, because if Illinois is able to generate lots of yards in production, long drive after long drive after long drive within this game, and this Michigan defense is out there in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they could be gassed at that point in time. Will Michigan be able to replicate what Purdue did? That could be a big time difference in what direction this game swings. I got a feeling that the start of this game is going to determine how this game finishes. Let me explain. I think Michigan needs to slow the tempo. We've already established that I believe Illinois can throw the ball and have a good amount of success throwing the football in this game. Michigan needs to try to slow this thing down. They need to try to get to that Michigan style of game where they drag teams down and they grind out a win. That's where Michigan wants to live. Personally, I think as time goes by, that Michigan window of victory is just much smaller than it was last season. They know exactly the window. They know the box that they need to live in. And in this game, they need to run the football really well. They need to have long drives. They need to score, and they need to score early. They need to get up early in this game, because this is a team that is not built to play from behind, which is where I swing to the other side with Illinois. We know the crowd is going to be hot. We know that this is going to be a big deal. This is a big-time matchup. This is a big-time game. If Illinois goes down the field and they get production and they get yards and they get points early on in this game, and if you're able to get Michigan behind early and you stay at a 10-point cushion, at a 13, a 14, a 2-touchdown cushion, now that gets Michigan out of their comfort zone. Now that gets them out of their game plan, especially like you saw it against Washington. When they get behind a little bit, now they go to the throw game a little bit more, and that's not in the window. That's not in the box. That's not where Michigan wants to live in this game. So I think how this game shapes out, if it's a grinded out type of game early, that could maybe favor Michigan. But if this game is going up and down, that favors Illinois, especially if they're able to get that lead early and keep the crowd in this one early as well. All right, it's everybody's favorite time. It is prediction time. Folks, I'm picking Illinois straight up. I think the Illini are going to win this game. I think there's more probabilities for Illinois to win this game. I've got them winning 30-23. I mentioned Michigan getting out to that hot start, doing well in the run game, slowing down the tempo, all of that stuff. Like if this game is 20-10 in the beginning of the fourth quarter, Illinois is a team with their passing game and with the matchup against Michigan that can still get back into this game. So I just think a lot of things favor Illinois in this game. Do I think Michigan can have success getting after Luke Altmaier running the football? Yes, but I think Illinois can just put up more points in this game. We know how limited that the Michigan offense is. I think it comes down to Michigan can't stop Illinois enough, and then I also think that the Wolverines maybe can't score enough in this game. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I am dead wrong on this prediction, or do you think I'm dead spot on target with the big Illinois Vegas upset over the Michigan Wolverines? Let me hear all your thoughts, score predictions, and all that in the comments below. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.